Great segue by you, Ewok. Let's look at a couple of these RH tweets from the last couple of days, and I will. This one's rather short, so the couple that he had from the 18th. I'm going to send you the longer one in which he does talk about like buying the top of BTC. I think this is interesting to examine, and I think it has some people frustrated. With he's been tweeting a lot about like, hey, Hex is down, Pulse is down. Well, so is the rest of the market and things like that. And people are like, well, what happened to 10,000X and look at these charts and things like that. But let's analyze these. So there goes the camera again. That's always fun. I'm going to go ahead and read the first one. This is on the 18th, so almost a week ago. But he said, Hex was nearly at, this we have to discuss. Hex was nearly at a new all-time high 35 days ago. It did a 5.3x in 198 days. To be clear, this is the Hex on Pulse Chain, where all the liquidity is, and not the Hex on Ethereum. Don't click links in the responses, blah, blah, blah. General Buck Naked Buck from the PH stuff says RH dropping a big clue here. Pay attention, class. That's a top comment under there I just saw. I wanted to get your take on this, Ewok. Just about Hex just hit a new all-time high, however you want to say it. What do you think of this? Because there are people out there that, obviously I'm talking about Sami because he's one of the people saying it. And some people do feel this way. It's not just him saying it. I think it's because he's reacting to how people feel. But like, this is gaslighting and it's not really an all-time high. And like, are we just pretending that Hex on Ethereum didn't hit 56 cents and all these things? But on the other hand, objectively, if you look at the Hex chart, it did on Pulse Chain, it did hit its all-time high. So, what did you make of that? How did you interpret that tweet? There you go.
I don't know. I try not to overanalyze his tweets too much. I just read them and see what I get out of it. He didn't lie. He's calling Hex on Pulse Chain. It's not like he said all of Hex all-time high. So people get butthurt about the weirdest things sometimes. On this chart, it did hit an all-time high. Obviously we know that 52 cents was EHEX's all-time high, but I don't know. It's one of those, man, don't take things so literally. Don't get so upset about somebody tweeting on the internet. And then, it never fails. Obviously, people criticize every little thing that happens because they're not happy with their purchases, probably because they're over leveraged. But it's the toxic playground, man. That's kind of what I get out of it. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to fault people as well. I'm kind of on both sides because it's not anywhere near all-time high. We're all down pretty heavily, right? But at the same time, he didn't say anything that wasn't true. It's all interpretation. It's kind of like the the market decided,
right.
And then blaming him because he fudded it. He didn't really fud it. He just gave an observation. And I think people have to understand a little bit more that he's just giving observation. He's reading things and looking at charts and giving his observation. He's not trying to shape or shift the markets in any way. It's what people do and how they interpreted it is what causes the on-chain transactions. He's not doing any of that. So that's just my take on it.
Well, I think what it is like just different perspectives. Like you obviously are coming from it as like OG Hexakin, been here the whole time, got in at amazing prices, all that stuff. And that's not, that's just making a statement. That's not blaming you or anybody else or anything like that. And then a lot of the people, clearly like very many of the people are going to be people that bought the pump, bought it on the way up the last bull cycle and are like heavily underwater. And that doesn't, that's not unique to Hex. Obviously that is all of crypto. Everybody does that. That's what happens. Retail comes in at the end, and they're the exit liquidity. That's what's going to happen this cycle. And everybody
don't forget a large percentage of my biggest purchases were when Hex was at 8 cents. I did get in
Yeah.
early. I was early days, but I, had a lot of money that I had come available when Hex was probably at a half a cent, and I didn't deploy it until it was probably almost 8 cents. It just
Mm,
happened that quickly, that
right.
so a lot of mine is underwater too. So I get it. Yes, I did get in early. I was here and buying up some of those early low. I did buy on day 33, which was the lowest day as well. But the majority of my capital that was put in, you know, came in a little bit higher. So
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off, but
Well, no, I think that is. I'm glad you did mention that because that is perspective for some other people. I think everybody just looks at Crypto Coffee or Johnny Chaos or like some of these famous people from the beginning as like, yeah, well, you're a lottery ticket winner and now you're just like spouting all this stuff now down the road or something like that. And I don't think that's true. And obviously, those guys are around and still working. I mean, there are many people who were around and then totally left after they,
sure,
may have made it, never showed their face again. So keep that in mind. But, it's just the all-time high thing on Hex is something that people are just like, okay, I had all these stakes already. I had all this stuff on Hex on Ethereum, and now it's down 99%. And then I have this copy on Pulse Chain, and I'm supposed to think that we just hit an all-time high. Here's the thing that we haven't said this yet, and this is why I condone. I mean, not that it matters to him, but why I condone that Rigid Heart tweet. It's marketing. That's what he needs to be doing. He
yeah,
is going. He's one of the people that's going to be the best for marketing this ecosystem of anybody. As much as there are, there's an awesome organic ecosystem. There's lots of people doing great marketing and stuff like that. And even people doing horrible marketing, but at least people are out there doing stuff. You know what
sure,
I mean? Which is good. I saw people come at Corey Costa the other day about like how he was on that new Ben Armstrong podcast or whatever, and that he didn't represent it well or whatever. And it's like, look, if you have a microphone and you're talking about it, at the end of the day, with the adoption of crypto and stuff, I think that is a good thing. So,
yep,
that's my thoughts on that. But yeah, this is a marketing tweet, and I think it should be. And I would be screaming from the rooftops like, hey, this token came out under a year ago. It just hit an all-time high. It's down a little bit right now, whatever. Do you want new people to come into the ecosystem or not? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I'm frustrated myself here and there when it's like, oh yeah, it just hit a new all-time high. It's kind of like a little bit of an eye roll. But there are people who just came into crypto and have never owned Hex, have never owned Pulse
sure,
Chain, and never bought any of this stuff. And that's who you want to realize the products that we have here, which we still all think are amazing products. It's just that the price is down. What changed with Hex other than the price being down? The way it's better, actually. I mean, the way that it operates on Pulse Chain is better. It's just that the price is down and you want people to come in and buy it. So I'm not going to blame Richard Hart for marketing that. I don't really, give a shit how it looks otherwise. So I don't know if you had any other thoughts on that, Ewok.
No, and you nailed that. He is technically a marketing genius. I mean, he's been doing it a long time. He's had several very successful companies that he's had a lot of practice. He knows the things that work. He knows the things that don't. Let the man cook.